We train to have mastery of our own mind.
What's up, guys? My friend Yoshika here is going to help me teach you how to do a full body squat. The squat is the king of all exercises. You never see an athlete without one of these. This hip extension, a lot of power, a lot of stability is generated at the midline, at the core of the body, with the squat, strengthening the quadriceps, the glutes, and the hips. So we're going to stand, Yoshika's going to stand with the feet wider than the shoulders, just wider than the shoulders. There's different reasons for when we shorten this stance, but we're going to focus on the wide stance because it provides the most stability and strength. So the one difference I'm going to give you with the foot position is if you are practicing yoga, particularly back bends, most people squat with the feet slightly turned out and the knees tracking in the direction of the toes. That's really good, but what you can see is when you extend, that strengthens the glutes so much that if one were to go into deep back bending, it would be difficult. So if you are a yogi and strength training is your supplemental practice, I'm going to encourage you to keep the feet straight on as much as you can, parallel, so that when you go into the back bends, the weight can distribute through the arc more evenly and your hips can go straight up and your shoulders are supported by the scapula. So Yoshika can turn her feet out just a little bit. Turn your feet out, there we go. And as she bends the hips, the flexion, the exercise starts with hip flexion. We don't bend the knees and then the hips. That's very awkward on the calf and it's very awkward on the spine. It creates too much spinal flexion. It throws off the natural alignment of the spine. So she's going to bend the hips first and then the knees second. And ultimately, your hips may go a little lower than the knees, but that's not necessary. What I'm looking for is for the thighs to come parallel to the earth. And the arms are a counterweight to give you balance. So Yoshika, bend the hips. Go ahead on your first one. Sit low, reach your arms up. Inhale. And exhale, come up. And now with a little more rhythm, we'll do 10 here. Inhale, keep going. Exhale. So wherever you are, you want the line of the feet here. Sometimes you use a ridge here, a dig in the earth, in the wood, a line to keep the feet in line. You can see that the hip is flexing and the knees bend as a consequence of the hip flexion. So keep going, Yoshika. Inhale. Exhale. Now when people squat with heavy weight, they inhale and hold the breath for bracing. We're not concerned with that. We're going super old school, almost vinyasa krama style from yoga of inhaling down and exhaling up. And you can see hip bends first, keep going. Thigh parallel to earth, pushing into the heels and the feet come on up. And what you're feeling the burn in is the medialis, this muscle here on the inside of the knee, and the glutes, the entire quadriceps, but it's mainly a lot of medialis and a lot of glutes. One more, inhale, flex the hips, come down, exhale, extend the hips, and rest there. So that's the form that we're looking for. Thighs parallel with the earth, bend the hips, then the knees. Your arms are a counterweight and your knees track in the direction of your toes, which are slightly turned out unless you are a major yoga asana practitioner where you're going to want to keep the feet a little more parallel if possible. So there you go. That's your form for the squat we are starting with.